Lion dignitaries, fellow Lions, Lionesses, Leos, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. A very good afternoon, and it's certainly an honor to be here today. And I would like to thank District Governor Lion Kenneth for inviting me to talk on the theme of service and share some of my professional views. Richard Dawkins, a renowned evolutionary biologist, said that there is a genetic reason why we care for self above all others. His concept of selfish genes sees each of our own set of genes striving to survive and multiply through succeeding generations. This explains why we are more attached to our children and grandchildren than to the children of others or strangers, because they bear our genes and must survive into future generations. They will be protected and nurtured by us so that they can live and produce more offspring bearing our genes. In evolutionary terms, in the selfish genes, we see that our behavior is largely determined by selfish acts that benefit mostly ourselves, our close relatives, and our friends. However, over the years, we see abundant examples of selfless behavior when individuals give aid to total strangers spontaneously and without forethought. There are stories of many people who have given their lives to serve and care for those rejected by their community and society or the less fortunate. Even in the animal kingdom, we hear of observations of female monkeys and tigers adopting orphans. So what possesses people like the many of us here today to display selfless and altruistic behavior? Altruism is said to be a selfless concern for the welfare of others. It is a traditional virtue in many cultures and central to many religious traditions. Altruism is opposite of selfishness. Altruism focuses on a motivation to help others or a want to do good without reward, while duty focuses on the moral obligations towards a specific individual, for example, to God or to a king, to a specific organization, for example, to government or to the Lions International, or an abstract concept, for example, patriotism. Some individuals are altruistic and some are dutiful, while others are both altruistic and dutiful, and many are neither. Are you altruistic? Unfortunately, our society has become more individualistic and materialistic. Thus, the seed of altruism is less often planted in our schools and in our community. As I ponder while writing this presentation, I explored the reasons why the many of us choose to join the Lions movement and why the Lions International motto is "We serve." There are many psychological explanations for why we are altruistic or kind. The arousal theory suggests that people feel upset and distressed when they see a person in need and are motivated to do something to reduce the unpleasant arousal. People then weigh the cost of helping versus not helping. The clearer the need for help, the higher the feelings of upset and distress. And this can drive a person to extend himself to help. The cost-reward theory supports the idea that people sometimes help because they have the financial means and skills to do so. Perhaps the reward of recognition and good publicity motivate them. In the empathy altruism theory, people help because they have empathy. Empathy here means that the meaning of an insightful understanding of pain and distress of a person in need. You feel like a twin to the person in your feeling. In the evolutionary theory, people help others from their family or clan or gang only to ensure survival of their genes, the selfish genes, and their kinds. Research has shown that people are more likely to help others if they have just observed someone else modeling that specific helping behavior. For example, we are encouraged to donate blood because we read or see others donating them. Research also shows that people are more empathetic and helpful towards those similar to themselves. Dress or uniform induces a sense of belonging and therefore of mutual help and support. For example, we lions are more inclined to help another lion because we wear the same vest, same uniform, with the same logo. We also help people of the same race and same religion too. Here are some striking real stories of people who display altruistic behavior, often at the loss of their own life, that illustrate one or more of the theories I've mentioned above. Young Wen Ting, 26, is a first-grade teacher. When the earthquake struck China, she rushed to carry her stunned students from classroom on the 3rd floor to the ground. She managed to pull most of her students, but the building collapsed when she was trying to pull out the last few. At the last moment of her life, she was trying to use her body to shield the students from falling concrete. Kim Thompson and her son, John, and her husband, John Bliss, took their 2 children, Tom, 11, and Mandy, 9, to Costa Rica to work with local people with mental and physical disabilities in September 2007. As the children head into the preteen and teenage years, Kim and John wanted to give them the better understanding of the struggles of others and the meaning of helping people. So Kim and John wanted their children to understand that if they are fortunate, they should do something to help others. Louise Pierce served as a volunteer dentist in 10 countries since 1997. He's working in Tanzania, where there is no dentist for over 20 miles from the village. Louise uses his skills to set up a dental facilities. He teaches students in the primary and secondary schools the proper preventive and hygiene, oral hygiene. He and his wife also took their 2 oldest grandchildren to Poland and Italy to teach English voluntarily. According to Louis, his volunteer work is always appreciated. He said that being a volunteer is a wonderful experience one never forgets. Rosemary Yates went to Thailand and worked with children aged 1 to 3 years who were being cared for in a home in the grounds of Lat Yao prison, of which their pet mothers were incarcerated. From the district website, I found 2 stories. One is the free wheelchair project, where wheelchairs were given to those in dire need but are unable to afford one. The second one is a medical camp assisted by medical doctors from a Lions Club to provide medical services for poor families. I hope, and I really hope, that there will be more and more meaningful services in our district. Basically, by being lions and observing our motto we serve, we demonstrate that we have one or more of these traits for altruism. Our membership should reflect a preference for people with these traits. There are recognized psychological and emotional rewards from displaying altruistic behavior. As we perform miracles through service, a team of Lions International, I believe we also receive miracles from our service. I believe these gifts and miracles include having a sense of well-being. Studies have shown that when we help people, we receive